Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, I invited each of us to take an honest self-inventory regarding any increases that you may have noticed in addictive behaviors, particularly over the course of the past 3 months of virus pandemic and lockdown. I'm curious, what did you find? I have a guest planned, even as I wrote this particular post. I have a guest planned for a Facebook Live event this week. Eric is his name. He's a coaching client that I mentioned in a series of posts last week, fully with his endorsement and blessing. Eric has been very forthright in establishing that there's another pandemic right now, though one not so widely acknowledged is COVID. And what is that pandemic? As Eric has said, it's the opioid crisis. The Center for Disease Control out of Atlanta, Georgia, informs us that over 750,000 people have already died from drug overdose in the past 2 decades. To get more specific, 2/3 of that group, or 500,000 of those who've overdosed on drugs, have overdosed on opioids. That includes prescribed painkillers, heroin, fentanyl, for starters. I've now spoken with clinical directors of several nationally known addiction treatment centers in the last few months, and every one of them has confirmed my worst fear at the onset of this current virus quarantine. Every one of them has reported major increases in reported drug overdoses and deaths, most of them owing to opioids, and many undoubtedly linked to this current global crisis. It's a pandemic ×2, to say the very least, including as Eric has drawn our attention to. For today's homework, I'd like to suggest that you put on your thinking cap for a moment. In fact, while we're at it, why don't we put on our compassionate caps and our curious caps as well. Thinking with compassion and curiosity. I'd like you to see what you can come up with to explain to the best of your understanding how the current coronavirus pandemic, with well over 100,000 deaths so far here just in the US, how it might at the same time be making the other pre-existing pandemic, that's the opioid catastrophe, because there's no other word for it, which is nearing 1 million deaths in just 20 years here in the US, how the one crisis is making the other worse by the minute, how COVID is affecting the opioid crisis. I'd like also to invite you to check out this week's Facebook Live interview with Eric, where we'll be talking directly into this point. Come back tomorrow. We're going to continue to unpack not only how the COVID crisis is definitely influencing our stretching our coping mechanisms to the hilt, but also manifesting as addiction, including life-threatening addiction. So you end up with this overlay of the one crisis with the other, and it's an awful sinkhole that we're moving into even as we speak. We're going to see if we can understand it better, understand how that's come to be, and also see what we can, what if anything can be done about it. And I'm optimistic that things can be done about it. Thanks for joining me here today at the Vitality Project. It's good that you're here. I hope that you'll stay healthy and be well and come back and join us again soon.